Love.
Welcome into Last Call here on WagerTalk. It is college football week 12. I'm Jo Madden. Kelly Stewart will be back next week, filling in for her today as she is on a plane taking off somewhere. But we've got a lot to go over today. Art DiCesare, unfortunately, is unable to make it, you guys, but I do have what he's needing, where the sharp money is going. So we're going to go over that first. But before we do, make sure you hit that like button over here on YouTube. Also, open your Odds Logic page so you can look at these lines across the board. We always want to shop for our best lines for sure. So looking at what Art is needing, you guys. Also, before we do, I want to note Gianni the Greek, Teddy Covers, and Ralph Michaels in the show today. So absolutely loaded for you guys. Art is needing USC. That is the number one need for the books. Needing Texas as well, which is kind of surprising. I thought money would be on the other side of that. We're needing Navy, Michigan State, Southern Miss, and Ole Miss. Those are all the needs for Westgate. Now, when we look at where the sharp money is, Iowa plus the 7 has the sharp money. UNLV -4 and -5.5 sharp money has come in on. San Jose State minus the 8.5, TCU plus 4.5 and plus 3.5, Texas State plus the 6.5 and plus the 4.5, UVA plus 6.5 and plus 5. Now, where the public really has come in, public's come in on UConn, UGA, A&M, and LSU. LSU after that last game, can't believe public money has come there. Art's favorite play, UDSU. UDSU minus the 2.5 is Art's favorite play. So you guys, that's where Art is going. Like I said, we got a whole bunch of people in there. I'm seeing comment that I need a mic. If my mic isn't at the right levels, let me know. It could be my voice today, you guys. I was yelling at my TV last night quite a bit. But we've got Gianni the Greek and Teddy Covers, Ralph Michaels in the live chat here. You guys drop what you want to ask these guys, where you have questions before you get these bets in. It is a week 12. So much on the line for a lot of these games. Some really big games on deck. So we'll see what we're going to have. I think we got some upsets maybe in the making. Let me know who your favorite upset is. And again, all those questions in that chat, we're going to get to them. So let's bring Gianni the Greek in, see where the steam is at.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Busy morning. We got college football, college basketball, NFL tomorrow, UFC pay-per-view. So I'll start. Where do you want to start? I'll guess share some of the steam moves. I mean, there's like 300 when you add sides and totals and college basketball, college football. But here's some of the sides. I probably tell from the line moves. 328, James Madison -20. Notre Dame, talked about them earlier in the week at 351. They're up to about 12.5, 13 right now. Georgia got steamed earlier in the week. Opposite money came in later in the week. Iowa touched on that as well. Michigan early, Northwestern late. We did see some Northwestern money come in late. What else do I have for you, Sharp? Oh, Memphis +3, over 50 in Georgia and Texas. And yeah, the rest, I gave out a bunch on bet on it. But that's some of the college football that's still sitting around and didn't get much resistance, let's say.
Now, we're seeing Art does need Texas out there. Are you surprised by that money is coming in on Georgia?
No, not at all. In fact, Texas has been one of those teams that early on people drew that narrative that they're phony, that, Manning just has the name. If you remember, they had some problems early on and everyone was fading them against Oklahoma. That was a huge game. They turned it around, got the W. And power rating wise, Texas has been slowly but surely climbing. Georgia, same thing. Not surprised to see the sharps on the dog and the public on Georgia. They've been getting money pretty much every week. I haven't touched that game personally.
Yeah, we're seeing movement in that line. There's a 4.5 even right now at Hard Rock because there is some money coming in on Texas. So going to be an interesting one there to see if Arch Manning can play up in this big game, if he can expose the secondary a little bit there of Georgia, Gianni. You think maybe it's a good day? He had 2 great days before that bye.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like there was no way he was going to live up to expectations. He would have had to come in and thrown 5 touchdowns every game, 400 yards, no interceptions to live up to those expectations. So obviously, like when you set that kind of standard and then you have that last name, it's always going to be hard to live up to it. If anything, I think you were able to take advantage of it when he did come out, not looking all that great, living up to it. But I see no reason why he's not going to continue to improve in this system. If anything, I think as he gets more minutes under him, you're just going to see better and better results. So yeah, I don't think that was abnormal. I think if anything, that's him progressing towards the mean. He's going to be a stud. That's the bottom line. But they just can't cover the number because they do attract money at the window. Again, they've won 4 straight games, but they've only covered one of those because they've just been priced high because of that name, I guess. But yeah, they're getting faded today by the Sharps, that's for sure. But I don't really have an opinion. Gun the head, I don't know. I'd pass. I'd say shoot me. I don't want this game.
Shoot you. I got one more question on Arch Manning. If he comes out nice and big in this one, is able to carry Texas to a win here over Georgia, will he be in Heisman conversation in your opinion?
No. It's too late for that. It's way too late for that. There's other guys that surpassed him. I just don't think that he'll I don't even think the odds are going to be worth it. Because coming in, he was just so overvalued. Then he dropped, obviously, in price. That was probably when to get him. But if anything, if he comes off a big game, it'll be once again like that the price is jacked up. So no, I don't see any value there.
Okay, Richard Lockhart has a question here. He's got Air Force plus the 7.5. Any thoughts on that one?
No, I haven't seen anything actually on that game. So his opinion's probably better than mine. I haven't bet it. I know they keep saying that all the public's on Connecticut, I'm sure the percentage sites say Connecticut, but I'm not seeing that. The back end that I see, most of the public accounts are actually on Air Force, a book that has really good balance of public players all across the country. Same thing with him. He's got balanced action. So I see that the one-sided talk on Connecticut, but I just don't see it in the book. And that half-point line movement through that key 7 worries me a little bit. I don't like the game. Gun the head, I'd probably lay the points with Connecticut. But now it's 7.5. Nah, it's a pass. Good luck. I hope he hits his Air Force bet because I don't have it.
Yeah, lots of guns to your head this morning. Andrew has a question.
Some ugly games. Some tough games.
Yeah, there's definitely some tough games out there across the board. Andrew's asking about Cincinnati and Duke.
Cincinnati. Well, we saw 2-sided action here. Cincinnati got early money. Today, you're starting to see that Arizona money come in. Cincinnati, again, I don't mean to I just don't have anything there. If I see both sides in the account, I can only tell you what I'm seeing. And that's exactly what I've seen. I've seen Arizona side and Cincinnati side. Gun the head one more time. It's another game that I just wouldn't bet. Again, you got to remember, we're paying admission. Every bet we placed, you have to lay 11 to 10, whether you like it or not. You're paying at admission. Yeah. So you have to have conviction. And I just don't have that conviction. And I never want to steer the viewers away from their own opinion. Like if I don't have anything strong and no conviction, I don't want to shade them towards one side or another. But that's all I'm seeing in that game. I saw Cincinnati steam. I saw Arizona's sharp money as well. And so far today, line's just been sitting there at 5.5. So I guess the books feel at -110. Neither side gives you the best of it because they seem comfortable at 5.5.
Are you seeing any love coming in for Clemson at all?
That was yesterday. Yeah, they got there for us. They got there for us. A nice 4% winner on Clemson plus the 3.
Okay, nice. Nice to see a Clemson game on a Friday night. Let's see what else people are asking here for you. Thoughts on South Carolina plus 17? Do they have a chance to cover?
I like it over Texas A&M. There's a game I do like because Texas A&M has been overvalued. I've talked about it. People think I have something personal against Texas A&M. I promise you I do not. I've slowly been moving them up in my power ratings. They just cracked my top 10. But they've been overvalued. They've been exceeding expectations. Good for them. But I've been continuing expecting them to regress towards their mean, and they're just not a top 3 team in the country. That's just not the case. So I like South Carolina here. I think they're a decent 3-6 team. The line shouldn't be more than, I think, 11, 12 probably. Again, South Carolina's had the 3rd toughest schedule in all of college football, 3rd toughest, and yet they have a top 15 defense with that. And this is an offense that's barely top 70. So it's an offense that's not giving the defense any help, and yet they're still top 15, and they've had the 3rd toughest schedule. If I'm catching points, I'm going to look at a team like that, especially against a Texas A&M team where I know I have the superior defense. You know, they're barely top 25. They've had a solid strength of schedule too, but not as tough as South Carolina's. I think South Carolina keeps it within the number. Eventually, Texas A&M does get exposed. We'll find time to make money off them. But at 17, that's a gift. I like South Carolina a lot today.
Okay, I'm going to throw out one here because I can't believe no one's talking about it. Notre Dame versus Pitt. What are your thoughts here on Pitt? They kind of been talking, their head coach, that they don't care about this one. Gianni, do you think that's just maybe him throwing out an excuse early for a loss?
And that's where the narrative got away from us. Like, I wish I could tell you to bet Notre Dame, but I can't urge you to take a bad number. I got down. I'll tell you, I gave a 4% best bet to my subscribers at -10. In fact, it qualified for a 5% big move because the power rating that I had showed Notre Dame should win this by a lot more than that spread. And more importantly, I felt confident that the line was going to move in my favor. The only reason I didn't fire 5% is this, that I knew the line was going to move. I was confident it was going to move, and I didn't want the WagerTalk girls to get a bunch of emails this morning asking, what do we do? What do we do? Yeah. You gave it out at 11 and now it's at 12.5 or 13. What do we do? What do we do? So instead I said, just put it out at 4%. Tell them it's a 4 up until this number. After that, it's your own risk tolerance. But yeah, I like Notre Dame here. They've been an undervalued team because of their record. But it's one of those teams that's going to get in the college football playoffs once they win this game, and they're going to be dangerous once they get into those college football playoffs because they are a top 5 power rated team. I can tell you that. And I think they blow Pitt away. In fact, I like the under also because I don't think Pitt's going to do much scoring. Usually need 2 teams to score to get an over, and I just don't think Pitt's going to have any success against Notre Dame's defense. The reason I haven't bet this over is one of the books I respect most right now in college football has shaded their line towards the over, meaning they're trying to book under money. Whenever they're enticing me to do something and it's someone I respect like that, I'm going to let it go. So I'll pass on the total, but I do like Notre Dame. At 13, it would be a smaller bet, obviously, than at -10, but there's no reason for me to like the Pitt side.
Okay, we do have Little J asking about Oklahoma and Alabama. This is a big game between these two here. We did see that line open at 7. We're seeing 6s basically across the board now. 45.5 was the opening total. There's a 45 at Pinnacle and a 46 at Bet365. So that total kind of all over the place by that one point.
Yeah, and this is another game that you saw some sharp money come in on the dog. But there's more than enough public money on Alabama to offset that. Finally, the recreational bettors are realizing just how good Alabama is. Remember, they got that loss earlier in the season, and people kind of forgot about them a little bit early on. They've shown they are an elite team, top 5 power rating for sure. The 7, I get it with Oklahoma. If I could get 7 right now, I would probably take it, especially at -110. Now where it sits, I don't think that's the case anymore. Power rating wise, I actually have Alabama winning this game by more than a touchdown, but I like the way it's set up for Oklahoma catching a touchdown, but I wouldn't fade Alabama right now. You got to remember, we're at the end of the season. Yeah. This is where factors that you can't quantify actually matter, meaning playoffs and bowl seeding, that's going to matter. Senior day, that's going to matter. Style points, are you blowing teams away like James Madison has to do? that's going to matter. Those are factors that we have to try to figure out towards the end of college football season. That's very difficult to quantify for us and the books, and you could take advantage of it. But right now, like I said, I would not get out ahead of Alabama. I like Alabama, but I don't, point spread wise, I just don't see value in betting it. Again, it's a game I want to watch, but I'm not betting that side or total. If I had to bet the total, I'd go over, but I'm not betting it.
Okay, Gianni, I know you've got an absolutely loaded day out there. We'll let the rest of the chat questions come for Teddy Covers and Ralph Michaels.
Awesome.
I want to know one more play that you would jump on right now, and then what you got for sale for us over at WagerTalk.
I like Memphis. I like Memphis +3. They're the better team catching points. In fact, I think they should be the favorite in that matchup. So let's go with Memphis +3 because that should still be available. I think that number. I have my college football package up. I kept it. Like I said, I could have upgraded it to a 5% play and bumped it up $10. Not going to do that because the 4% have been money. I've won 10 of 12 weeks in college football. I'm coming off a losing week. So what should we do? Progress towards the mean and bounce back. And that's exactly what I've done. Going into today, 5-0 this week in college football through these weekday games. I love my card for Saturday. Also have UFC. Don't overlook that because I have a 5% in there. I haven't fired a 5% in a while in the UFC. Found a nice dog for us today. I think I got 8 plays in there. So a big day. We're going to roll that over into NFL on Sunday. And it's the end of the year. Best time to jump on board. Bowl games coming up. Playoffs coming up. College basketball. I now have this set of power ratings to work with. Just a good time to make some money. So jump on board and best of luck to all this weekend.
Absolutely. Best of luck to you tomorrow, Gianni, today, and for the rest of the week. Take care. Okay, guys, that was Gianni the Greek. Make sure you do go on over to wagertalk.com to get his best bets. Like you said, 5% UFC play tonight. You don't want to miss out on those UFC plays, but I want to go over one more time. I see guys in the chat asking what Art DiCesare was wanting out there, what he needs, what the sharp, and what the public money is coming in on. So the needs for Westgate, Superbook, USC, that's the number one need out there. Then they're needing Texas, which again, I'm kind of surprised by all of that money not coming in on Texas. They're needing Navy, Big House players on USF, and then Michigan State, Southern Miss, and Ole Miss. Now the sharp money coming in on Iowa +7, UNLV -4.5 and at -5.5. San Jose State -8.5, TCU +4.5 and +3.5. Texas State at +6.5 and +4.5. UVA at +6.5 and +5. Now, where the public money is coming is UConn, SGA, A&M, and LSU. So his favorite play is SDSU -2.5. So yeah, Art is a legend. That is for sure, J-Dog. But you guys, we're going to bring in Teddy Covers. After Teddy comes in, Ralph Michaels is going to come in. So drop your questions, drop your comments for these guys. We're going to try to get to some of the ones still up above before. So let's bring Teddy Covers into the show. Teddy, good morning. Happy Saturday.
Good morning. And I'm proud to be the one who brought Art DiCesare into the WagerTalk family. You know, Art and I were talking down at the Westgate. He's like, I want to start doing some shows. I'm like, come on with us. And he started with WagerTalk today with Prez and I. And it has become a thing, obviously. What's it, 5-6 years later? And Art is a legend by now. So, you know, we love having him on whenever we can get him. How are you this morning, Joe?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited for this week 12 slate. Are you looking at this day? Like, there's some big, meaningful games. You got some big dogs coming out with any wins here, Teddy?
There's big meaning. So that's the whole thing. Like, oh, this college football card is better than that college football card. Every week, there's 50, 60 games to choose from. Every week, there's games we're interested in. It doesn't matter if it's week 1 or what is it, week 12 now, whatever week it is. I'm always interested in the college football card. They'll feel like this is a great week. All right, sure. You know, but when it comes to, it's not always the top 25 showdowns that attract my attention. They're often smaller conference games that pique my interest.
Okay. With you saying that, before we get into the live chat combo here, what smaller school should we be looking at? Like, who should we have circled out there? Because I want to hear this. This is where we know those lines maybe not as sharp on these smaller schools, Teddy?
Art DiCesare just gave you San Diego State, and I'm with him 1,000%. Again, I want a good team off a bad showing. And that's exactly what we have here, especially in a statement game at home against a squad like Boise. I'm an Aztecs believer tonight. Give me Sean Lewis and company. -2 right now against Boise State.
It's a good line. Just laying the 2 there. Okay, let's jump into some of these bigger games. I want to hear your thoughts on Texas versus Georgia. There's been a lot of talk in the chat here. What are you thinking with Texas versus Georgia? We're seeing Georgia now. These lines have been moving when we've been talking, you guys. There was only 1 4.5. They're popping across the board for Georgia, laying the 4.5. That was at 6.5. Texas now coming in with some late money.
Sure. So let me just answer a couple things from the chat that I'm just popping right here that I want, and then I'll talk about Texas and Georgia. Block Beta asked it, did I say SDSU? Yes, San Diego State, SDSU. John McGuire, Memphis might come out flat after a crushing defeat, and they might. That was my biggest concern about Memphis this week. I had no interest in that side of it. East Carolina or pass for this better. When it comes to Arch Manning, and I heard Gianni talking earlier saying, look, Arch Manning's better than what we thought he was. I'm not convinced that Arch Manning is any better than what we thought he was. What Arch Manning has done over the last 2 weeks or his last 2 games is take on 2 of the weaker defenses in the SEC and put up decent numbers against them. I do not trust him against this level of defense. Not even close. Not even maybe. So it's a kind of scenario where I understand where the sharp money has come. Sharp money took different numbers than what we're looking at right now. Again, on the Odds Logic live odds screen right now, 4.5. That's cheap. Georgia's real. And I understand Texas has an elite defense. All right. But between the hedges is not a place I'm looking to step. I need a good reason and a good quarterback to step in front of Georgia in this venue. I'm not a Manning believer. Not yet, anyway. So it'd be Bulldogs or pass for this better. And I have a free play video on my page at w2.buzz/TC talking about this very game. And of course, we did a free play video on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel, do it right now. We're approaching, 250,000 of you who have subscribed to the channel. Why do we have so many? Because the content is good and we put out a ton of it every day. So we appreciate the likes. We appreciate the comments. But subscribe to the channel so you get instant alerts every time this stuff goes live.
Yeah, tons of great free content, you guys. And that notification bell, turn it on. You'll know as soon as these videos do drop. Another big game, Oklahoma versus Alabama out there. We've seen this line drop from 7 to a couple of 6s out there across the books for Alabama. Oklahoma, the total coming in this one at 45.5, 46s on a couple of the books. Anything on this one, Teddy?
You look so bright over there. I feel like I'm washed out here. You know, it's a rainy day. It's been beautiful in Vegas for literally. This has been as nice a fall. I've been in Vegas since '98, and this has been as nice a fall as I can ever remember. It's just been gorgeous every single day. And today's the day you're like, yeah, it's gonna rain. So it's all cloudy and nasty here, and you look all bright and shiny.
It's snowing outside though, Teddy. Teddy, I've got snow here, so it's all a facade. It's the lights.
Well, you have excellent lighting. It's working well.
Yeah.
When it comes to Alabama and Oklahoma, I get that there's a sharp square divide on this game, and I'm on the square side. But I'm on the square side. All right, I'm on the Alabama side. I'm not stepping in front of the Crimson Tide. I don't believe in John Mateer against elite defense more than any other factor. And it's not just a quarterback play for the Sooners. They don't have the game breaker at receiver. If you're going to beat Alabama, you need someone, if you're going to go in and give Alabama a game, you need someone that can create a quick strike offense. And I just haven't seen that from the Sooners all year. I need playmakers for teams that are stepping in front of Alabama, to step in front of Alabama. And I don't see it on the Oklahoma side. So whether it happens early or late, I think at some point Alabama pulls away. I mean, under. I know I'm kind of against Johnny. Johnny liked the dog and over, and I like the favorite and under. And there's some correlation there, I believe, between dog and over and favorite and under. If you think Oklahoma can score on Alabama, then you're going to play dog and over. I don't think Oklahoma can score on Alabama. Therefore, I look to favorite and under.
I love it. Okay, so looking at some of these totals out there, are you thinking there's any totals that are just too high, that you're expecting more defense in these games, that maybe people want to jump on a total?
Any totals that are too high that stand out. So I'm not sure how much scoring Maryland's going to do against Illinois today. 51.5. That one to me was one that I was looking potentially at an under in. That being said, the other side of the equation, if you're playing Florida Atlantic overs, you just keep playing Florida Atlantic overs.
Yeah.
They're 62.5, 63 against Tulane. So that's just a couple that are, off the top of my head. I can give you more. I can go back and look at some notes and give you more if you like, but that's two that I was.
No, that's okay. Chase Turner, though, asking Texas plus the 6.5 and the under for the game. Any thoughts on that one?
I don't trust Arch Manning against this defense. I do not want the Longhorns. It'd be Georgia or pass. I mean, I'm looking at some favorites today. I want Georgia. I want Alabama in the marquee matchup. So it's not about taking the points.
Okay, what about the over? LSU and Arkansas were getting asked in the chat. Any thoughts on that one?
So I'm in play on the side for that ball game. Visit my homepage, WagerTalk.com/TC to get on board.
Don't worry, guys.
From a total standpoint, LSU's not a team I want to play overs with right now. Their quarterback issues with Nussmeier. That's another receiving core that we haven't seen the playmaking ability that we thought we might see coming into the season. But at the same time, the Tigers defense is tough as nails. So they're not a team that I'm going to rush to play overs with. My Arkansas is, but LSU isn't.
Okay, and then one more question here for you. We do have a question about UCLA. Can they score?
Nussmeier's officially out now.
Okay. So do you think they can score? Do you think they're going to be able to get anything done?
Not enough.
Not enough in that one. Okay. I think we've gone through all these questions for you, Teddy. Teddy, I appreciate your time today joining us here on Last Call. I know you're going to crush the books. You've been crushing the books across the board. What do you have up for sale over on WagerTalk.com?
Well, my NFL was good last week. My college football stunk last week. So we got a little bouncing back to. Johnny's 5-0 this week. I'm not. We'll give him credit. And will leave me in the hungry and focused category. But yeah, we got a three-pack up in college football for today. We have NBA for tonight. We have NFL locked and loaded for tomorrow. We did sweep the board in NFL last Sunday. But don't buy plays. Get on board with the Weekend Warrior package is what to do. It's $49. It's every football play right through Monday night if we're in action on Monday night. It's legitimately there's legitimate value in that package. It's very reasonably priced. It's a good opportunity to get on board for a couple of days. Let's see if we can make some money together. So $49 all access pass available on my homepage, available on all of our homepages at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, you guys head on over there. And Teddy, you crushed the End Zone hosting it last week. You absolutely did a fantastic job. Will people see you back on it tomorrow?
Yeah, I've been on pretty much every week. I'm not hosting tomorrow. We have, unfortunately, Prez coming back, so that should make the show a lot worse. But it'll be fun for us to make fun of him. And hopefully I can get my favorite thing to do on that show is just to get steam coming out of Prez's ears. And if I can actually see the steam coming out of his ears, that means I've done my job. So we'll see if we can flick him in the ear and then push his buttons tomorrow and have, that show, it's fun. We're all watching games together. And the concept is it's Wager Talk unplugged, it's Wager Talk off the record. You get a little bit more, I try to be all business when I'm on air, and that show's not designed to be all business. It's designed for us to have fun with each other and in the process, give you guys a bunch of good betting nuggets. So I encourage you, if you haven't watched it yet, End Zone Live every Sunday right here on Wager Talk TV.
Teddy absolutely crushed the books for this Week 12 slate, as well as tomorrow. We'll see you next time here on Last Call. Thank you.
I look forward to it. Have fun. Say hi to Ralph. I haven't seen Ralph in forever, so say hi to Ralph for me.
Okay, we'll say hi to Ralph for you. You guys, that was Teddy Covers. Make sure you do head on over to WagerTalk.com to grab all of his best bets that he does have over there. Great to have him on the show this morning. And yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the End Zone, Prez is back hosting it tomorrow, but Teddy Covers always jumps on. I'll be jumping on for the first quarter tomorrow morning, so it should be a good one. There's so much to go over, you guys. We have gone over everything that Art was looking for, what he needs. SDSU is what he needs. San Diego State, or is what he likes for his best play lane, the 2.5. So that was jumping up in the questions. So we're going to bring in Ralph Michaels, see what he's like. And also, you guys, jump in the live chat here. Get your questions out there for Ralph. I'm going to try to go back through, make sure we've answered all of the ones thus far. But if you got new questions for Ralph, make sure you do jump in that chat. Also, open your odds logic page. We're talking these lines. Lines are moving on a couple of these games. So really interesting to see that Texas one. It has bounced back up to a 5 on some of those books. Money coming in on both sides of that. So Texas, Georgia, 4.5s now, basically across the board. We did see the flashes of the 5s. There's still a 5 sitting at Sports 411 if you like Texas, but I'm seeing 5.5 or 4.5s across the board, except for Bet Rivers does have a 6 for Georgia. So interesting line movement in that one. Is these games kicking off pretty quick? That is a 7:30 Eastern one though tonight, later game tonight. So let's bring in Ralph Michaels. Maybe not.
He's a couple minutes late, but we're working on it.
That is okay, guys. We need a couple more minutes before Ralph comes in. So you're stuck with me for the next couple. And what I'm liking out here, I'm looking at these games and I did grab Texas plus the points. I just thought, and I got Texas plus the 6.5. I got them early here, you guys. At 4.5, I would stay off if you're looking to jump into a game right now. I think if this one goes the way where Texas can cover, we need Arch Manning to be the man. And that's kind of scary in situations because we know how Arch looked to start the season. He had those struggles out there on the field and he turned the ball over, but you're looking at him over the last 2 games before that bye. He was able to throw for 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception, back-to-back games, you guys. So it was him being the man. He needs to do it again. If he can come out and do that, and then we can see Texas's defense shut down Georgia's ground game, then they have every ability to keep this one tight. We know Kirby Smart's defense should be able to get things done, but I'm looking at this one being one where Texas needs this. They need to come out. They need to get things done. So a couple things I took because I believe in Arch. I took Arch Manning for over the 220.5 passing yards in this game. I think he has to be able to throw down the field into those tight pockets. I also took him over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Now you risk with him over 1.5 passing touchdowns, him running one in with his legs, but I think he's going to be put in the situations where he will throw the ball in the end zone. It's coming in at plus 154. I also like the plus money we were able to get on that. So the over 1.5 passing touchdowns for Arch. And then over the 220.5 passing touchdowns. Now, Gunnar Stockton will be put to the test in this game. Absolutely. His ability from a clean pocket is there, but if he gets that pressure, the pocket starts to collapse around him. I do think he's going to have some struggles out there. So he needs protection in front of him. I'm leaning towards this game staying under the total, you guys. We're looking at a total opened at 47.5. We're seeing a 50.5 over on Sports 411. I think that is just too high. I would look at the under 50.5, even though I think Arch Manning is able to throw those over 1.5 passing touchdowns, those 2 passing touchdowns. But we've got Ralph in. Let's hear what he's liking.
Hey, that's a pretty brave statement there, Joe, saying you like Manning. I've not heard many people say that, so congrats to you. That's a strong statement. Good luck to you on that play.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if I'm going down, I guess I'm going down with Arch. Hopefully not in that one. So, Ralph, we got some great games. Week 12. I don't know how this college football season has gone so quick, but it seems like every college football season's gone so quick. There's teams that need the win today. They need statement wins. There's other teams that maybe just looking at some title games, they want the win, like Pitt, but they're saying, we don't need the win here. So what are you thinking across the board?
Well, one thing is, I think when people say they must win, they have need, I could perceive that as a negative, and some people perceive that as a positive. When you have pressure like Texas, I'll use Texas as an example because you just broke that game down. For them to have to go on the road, perform well, or basically be out of the college football playoffs puts a lot of pressure on you. And remember, they did have 336 yards against Ohio State, which looks damn good now. But at Florida, they only had 341 yards. At Kentucky, they only had 179 yards. So that does concern me. Another thing I want to bring up now that we get to late in the season, remember when you get in the summer and you're practicing, every team's goal, I don't care if you're Akron, I don't care if you're Massachusetts, I don't care if you're the worst Sun Belt team, your goal is still to get to a bowl. So when you reach a 7th loss, that makes you bowl ineligible. And we see a lot of bad teams when they reach 7 losses start to play more young players as they look to next year, or are just disappointed and they tend to finish the season poorly.
Yeah, absolutely they do. So getting to some of these questions here, Leaning towards the points with Air Force against UConn. Any advice on that one?
Well, I'll tell you what, UConn to me is probably the most impressive team this season based on what they were a year ago. Jim Mora has done a fantastic job. And to me, I'm going to say the obvious. This is an incredibly high total, but it is for a reason. UConn's offense, the last few weeks, let's see, 51 points, 38, 34, 38, 37. Air Force, with this incredible offense and a very poor defense, has really pressed the tempo in the game. I like the over in this one. And if I had to pick a side, I would lean Air Force. It's very tough for a team like Connecticut that doesn't play the option to get prepared late in the season for this type of offense. Air Force lean, like the over a little bit more.
Okay, so lean into the over as well. Boss Moves asking about ECU.
I will say this. East Carolina was one of my top plays this week. It's a game I very much like. I think this Memphis team is a very fake team. When you look at Memphis's defense, they've allowed over 460 yards 4 times. This East Carolina offense absolutely rolling. They have over 1,500 yards their last 3 games. They've scored over 130 points. East Carolina wins this game going away.
Ooh, I like it. Lots of questions coming in right now, Ralph. Love to see you guys keep dropping those questions there. We'll try to get to all of them. Duke or Southern Miss? What are you liking, Uncle Ralph? I love that, Uncle Ralph.
Well, in the Duke game, I would lean Duke because of, Virginia's quarterback is not likely to play. And even though Duke's offense has been exposed the last couple weeks, those are passing yards they gave up. They gave up 560 yards to Clemson, 385 passing. They gave up 467 to Connecticut last game, 311 passing. They also gave up 535 yards earlier in the year to NC State, 364 yards passing. Since Virginia is not going to be able to put type of pass numbers, that has me leaning with the Duke Blue Devils.
Okay, we have a new member to the WagerTalk family here on YouTube. Shout out to Mark. Thanks for joining. Couple more questions for you. We've got a question on what dogs that you're looking at. Is there anyone that you think is barking out there, Ralph, for us?
Well, that's sort of a bizarre question. So let me go through and try to pull out a couple that I lean with.
Okay.
I lean Arizona over Cincinnati. I like Navy plus the points against South Florida. Michigan, Penn State, let me mention this. Michigan State is 5-0 as a dog this year. Penn State 0-6 as a favorite. That by itself is not a reason to play this game, but I don't have faith that Penn State's going to be able to pull that out. So Michigan State is in that list as well.
Okay, Brandon is asking about another dog here. Arkansas plus the 5 versus LSU. Any love for Arkansas?
Yeah, I actually do like Arkansas. They were in my mix too to be a play. And, it's tough to back a team that has lost 7 straight games. I believe that they have, but they are still continuing to play hard. You look at the last 4 weeks. They had a yardage edge at Tennessee, but lost by 3. They had a yardage edge against Texas A&M by 30 yards and lost by 3. They had a yardage edge against Mississippi State and lost by 3. What's the theme? Well, they were -3 turnovers against Auburn and -3 turnovers against Tennessee. If they don't turn the ball over, they are going to win this game handily. Taylor Green, a 19-8 ratio, but it's been the fumbles that have been surprising. But I do think Arkansas gets it done and snaps that losing streak.
Okay, one more question on a late game out here. TCU versus BYU. We know this one opened at 6. Those lines dropped to, there's a 2.5 for BYU right now on Hard Rock. Total 52.5, still sitting right around 51.5. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's a game I threw out pretty early, but, let me just run through the stats that I do. I like comparing conference stats because your competition is much tougher or much closer. But TCU's played a very weak schedule. If you look at the teams in the Big 12 they've played, it's very weak. And they're actually very close stat-wise to BYU. On the season, BYU's played a tougher schedule, and they're number 29 in the country, plus 1.3 yards per play. where TCU is under 1.0 yards per play. Light lean, but Cougars for me.
Now, there is a question about Ole Miss here from Rin versus Florida. We know Art needs Ole Miss to come in and get the win. What are your thoughts on this game?
I have not read Florida well all season. And there are times when we get this late in the season when you cannot read a team well, you don't really look at the game. Yeah. Ole Miss, we know what we're going to get. We know we're going to have a fast-paced team. We know we have a team that's going to run and pass just about the same. My concern is the Florida defense, which was stellar early in the year, but we've seen them wear down the stretch. 468 yards against Mississippi State, 401 yards. Obviously, you have a fast-paced team against a disappointed team losing late in the year. I like those fast-paced offenses to cover. But again, a game I did throw out early in the week, so not much in-depth work put in the second half of the week.
Now, we know Utah needs to come out and get a big win versus Baylor. That line shot all the way up to 10 on Sports 411. Do you think Baylor has the possibility of playing an upset role today?
I don't know if they'll pull the upset, but I'm certainly not a fan of laying 10 points with Kyle Whittingham. So that does have me on the Baylor side. They beat Cincinnati by 31 points last week. So you can say, well, look, they do win and cover. They beat Colorado by 46 points the week before. But you look at that Cincinnati game, they only had a 53-yard edge. It was just a bunch of bad things that happened to them. Baylor off a 33 win against UCF, a very solid win. They had almost a 200-yard edge. They are at home. Their road losses this year, again, they lost to Auburn at home. They lost to Arizona State at home. Both were close. I do lean the Baylor Bears plus the points because Utah, each of the last 2 weeks, they've run the ball for 50-plus times. Yeah. Tough to cover double digits if you're going to slow the game down by running that ball. Baylor's rush defense on the season, not the best, along 178 and 4.5, but I think they get enough done to keep it close and cover the number.
Yeah, I'm looking at Devin Dempier to come out nice and strong and run with his legs in that one. I took him over the 59.5 rushing yards just for you guys, the quarterback there for Utah. There is a couple questions here on Michigan versus Northwestern. Michigan entering into Northwestern is a 10.5 point favorite now on the majority of the books. That total has gone up to 42 on some.
Yeah, this is, another game. This is at Wrigley Field. I remember watching the Buckeyes play at Wrigley Field a couple of weeks ago. I am a Northwestern fan this year. Yes, they got run over at USC, allowing 482 yards and 309 yards rush passing. But you look at them at home. The Purdue 19-0 shutout impressed me. The UCLA win looks a lot better than it is now. Yes, this is not quite home. It is Wrigley. It's much more exciting for the Chicago kids to be playing Wrigley than it is for Michigan. No real opinion on the total, but I think Northwestern does cover this game.
Okay. Now, Ralph, was it you or was it Gianni who did like East Carolina today?
That was me. Yeah.
Okay. That was you. I thought so. So yeah, John, those questions on East Carolina, Ralph has already answered that. He is liking them here. One more from Rob. Should you hammer the over between North Texas and UAB?
Well, I did not bet the total, but the only way I would go is to bet that total over. You look at North Texas, the tempo they play with is amazing. You have, let's see, every game this year, they've scored at least 31 points. And the 31, their lowest, was against Navy last time because Navy ran the ball 44 times. To me, the only way to go is over. The number got a little too high for me, though, because North Texas defense, which was horrible the middle part of the year, has actually played very well the last 3 games, allowing about 370 yards per game.
Okay. That's great information. Ralph, you're always coming with so many great facts out there. If people are headed over to WagerTalk.com to buy your Weekend Warrior package, which is just the best deal if you're looking for football this weekend, what can people expect? How many plays do you have loaded today?
I have 4 college football plays. I still may throw up a college basketball. If you get the Weekend Warrior, you're not going to get hoops. But, Joe, let me actually tell you this. This is probably the only time where the Weekend Warrior is not the best deal.
Okay.
We have a 10-day special for $99. right? So the weekend warrior is 49, and the 10-day package would cover this weekend and next weekend of football. Plus, you're going to get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and NBA, NHL, and college basketball. So all sports, any cap or wager talk. A 7-day package is normally $99. This week, that package is now 10 days for the same $99. So it's like getting 2 weekend warriors over the next 2 weekends and getting all those other sports plus midweek for free.
Ralph, I absolutely love it. You guys want to head on over to wagertalk.com. Get that 10-day pass for just $99. 4 plays already loaded for college football today. Maybe one more to come. Ralph, I hope you dominate, crush the books today.
Joe, best of luck. And hey, thanks to all the new viewers today. It's always great seeing new people come in and join us for the weekend shows. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All the best, Ralph. You guys head on over to wagertalk.com. Like Ralph was saying, that 10-day pass, can't beat it. You're going to get the next 10 days for just $99. Ralph has already 4 plays loaded on the college football slate. We know there's so much going on across all sports. So it's going to be a great day out there for week 12. Let us know who you're liking. If you got any touchdown props in any of these games for week 12, I think we're in for some exciting matchups out there. Like I told you guys, I am relying on Arch Manning over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 154. I got it, and over 220.5 passing yards. I know he's going up against a sound defense here in Georgia, but I think Arch has to be the man if Texas is going to cover that original 6.5. I'm also liking the Utah Utes laying the points. I think Devin Dempierre comes out nice and strong. I do agree with Ralph that this should be a lower scoring game because you look at Utah, they're going to take their time. I don't trust Robinson on the other side. He's either firing and he's hitting his receivers out there, or he's turning that ball over. And I think the Utah Utes have the ability to get those turnovers on the board. And that's the only thing that does worry me about that total is a pick 6 could result in this one going over that total. But I think Utah stays alive in the Big 12 race. We got a big game there. You guys, all the best in all of your bets today. I appreciate each and every single one of you for being here. If you can hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. And hit the notification bell, the subscribe button over here on YouTube if you're not already, because there's so much great free content dropping here on the daily. Now, Ariel will be in tomorrow for your last call, talking NFL, and Kelly will be back here next Saturday. So I'll be live on Monday and Thursday night with your primetime preview last call going into those games at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you then. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Have a great day until next time. Stay hot and let's make some freaking money.